Hello, welcome back to the interface. My name's Alex and today we're looking at the Honda HR-V. This is Honda's smallest SUV that's on sale, sitting alongside the CR-V, the largest one, and then the ZR-V, the one that sits in the middle. This is the third generation HR-V now. The first one was launched way back in 1999. The HR-V range starts from just over £30,000 at £30,695. This one is the advanced style, the top of the line trim, and it is £36,295. This one on test comes in this lovely premium sunlight white pearl metallic two-tone, and it is a £975 option, and that brings the total cost of this car to £37,270. There are 11 other colours available, and there's some pictures on screen of what those look like. Just like around the front of the car, there's a very simple, clean design. I really like what Honda have done with this vehicle. It does look very reminiscent of the Honda eMY1. There's a review in the top right corner, or the description down below, where we took a look at the eMY1 earlier this year in January. All HR-Vs have this little white, blue and red strip here. Looks quite nice. I personally like the look of this one. We've got sort of a body-coloured grille here. You can also get a black and sport pack available, which will make this black, but I personally don't quite like the look of that. I think it looks quite clean the way it does. There are front and rear parking sensors available on all trims of the HR-V. We've got some parking sensors down here. Got these nice slim LED headlights as well, and then only on the advanced style, which this one is, do you get LED cornering lights as standard. But what do you think about the design and the looks of the HR-V? Let us know in the comments down below. We're quite interested to see what you think. Just looking around the side of the HR-V, lovely simple design. I really do like the look of the HR-V. Same for the eMY1 as well. We've got this lovely sort of two-tone colour here, again that premium white pearlescent paint, and we've got a two-tone roof there. The roof rails only come on the advanced style. This is the top line trim, and they do add extra 5 kilograms of extra roof capacity, and that's now 50 kilograms you can put on the roof. The standard HR-V models, the advanced, and then the entry-level model, they can only have 45 kilograms. All models of the HR-V also get keyless entry and start, and you can also use an app on your phone, the Honda Plus app, to gain entry into the car without the key. And then this being the star model, we do get a red strip of accenting down the bottom. Does look quite nice, and there's also some red accenting and exclusive seats in the interior as well. Just looking at the alloy wheels, these are 18-inch alloy wheels. Got Michelin tyres as well, and there are 2 other options available for a price as well, and those are on screen. So just looking at the inside of the HR-V, it's typical Honda stuff in here. It's really good quality, it's really easy to use, and you feel like it's going to last a long time. Those are just 3 sort of things I think about when I test and drive a Honda. So this being the star model, we do have those sort of nice characterful accenting and different colours. We've got some nice red stitching on the steering wheel here. We've got some quite unique coloured seats, so fabric inserts and sort of fake leather outserts. Some nice cream leather there. And we've got this nice sort of cream material on the dash here, and also on the passenger side, and then some armrests down here. It sort of breaks up the blandness of car interiors. It could just be completely dark and drab, but it does sort of lift the interior and make it a bit nicer to be in. We've got a shifter here, so other Hondas I've tested, they've got some nice buttons, but the Jazz and the HR-V, they do have a physical shifter, which is quite nice. This also being the star model, we do have some upgraded sound system. So we've got 4 tweeters and 4 speakers. So we've got 8 speakers in total. Sound system sounds okay. Definitely not the most impressive sound system ever, but it definitely does get the job done. For the driver, we've got this lovely sort of Honda steering wheel, found in most Hondas really. Very easy to use. I will say that the driver's display is quite a unique setup. So we've got a physical speedometer, so it actually moves. We've got a split driving display. So we've got left-hand side is sort of your different menus and things. You can have a rev counter for the state of charge and whether or not it's doing regen. There are some other options in there. For a full in-depth look at the infotainment system and the driver's display, we've got a dedicated infotainment review and infotainment guide. There's a link in the top right corner or the description down below if you want to check that out. We've also got some quite unique settings. So we've got a hill descent control, which is a little bit odd in a road-going crossover SUV. There's a drive mode as well, so we've got the option of sport, normal or econ. So I have it in normal. It does seem to get the job done. And then coming down here, we can open and close the tailgate using a button, and then you can close it as well. One little thing I've noticed that might get damaged over time is the piano black plastic on the driver's door here. So there is piano black plastic. I'm not sure how it's going to hold up over time, but we have also got it on the steering wheel here and a little bit down there. Especially down here, I can imagine rings and watches and things would scratch that. We've also got physical climate control buttons. Really good to see. So we've got dials here, buttons and heated seats. So really good to see that Honda have retained some of their sensibilities when it comes to having physical climate control buttons. And then lastly, we've got some USB ports. We've got a USB-A port there for charging, USB-A port there for wired Apple CarPlay or wired Android Auto, and there's also a little phone shelf if you are charging your phone wired, and then your passenger can charge their phone wirelessly if you want to. And then we've got a 12-volt socket hidden away there for other devices that don't have USB. And then the cup holders, they have got some little grips there, only on 2 sides. In my testing, they haven't secured some of the larger cups that you'd find nowadays, but they seem okay. Just hopping into the back of the HRV, I'm quite surprised about the amount of space back here. So we've got a really good amount of legroom. You can actually tuck your feet underneath the driver's seat, and I'm sat behind myself, so I'm about 5'7", and this is set up for my driving position, and I've got tons of legroom back here. You're not going to have a problem transporting people in the back of the HRV. What's quite nice as well is we've got a very small transmission hub there. There isn't much that's going back there apart from the exhaust. We've got front wheel drive on this vehicle, but it's a really, really good amount of space back here. So headroom, pretty good. I'm sat upright. The seats are very comfortable. I've got, again, black piano back plastic here for the controls. We've got some weird looking cheap speakers there, look a bit out of place. Some speakers there. The style model has mat pockets on both seats. The other models only have one mat pocket. It's a bit odd. And also we don't get a sunroof option on the HRV. That isn't a possibility. We have got some nice little spotlights here, like the Honda E. They look really good. And at night time, you can see what's going on in the vehicle, which is really good. There's a lot of vehicles now, it's just dark in the vehicle, but it's nice. Also for the people back here, we've got some air vents here, which work quite well. I've got 2 USB-A ports and a little storage tray. We've got some cup holders there. They would hold bottles, but there's a little label saying no cups with straws for some reason. So I'd imagine they don't hold like cups in that well, but I'd imagine sort of a flask or a Chili's cup would work quite well. Again, we've got these nice comfy seats. These are the Honda Magic seats. I'll give a little demo of that when we look at the boot. We have also got the same droopy armrest from the EMY1. Sort of does nothing to hold them up. Seems a bit odd to me, but there are 2 cup holders in there, but they seem to be leaning forward a little bit, so I'm not sure how well they'll work, but overall that's not too bad, but this is a bit odd. We've also got ISOFIX connectors which are exposed. They'll be quite easy to navigate if you're trying to get kids in the back of the car. Then we also have got a centrally mounted seatbelt, which is used for the middle passenger. So just look around the rear of the HRV. It looks a little bit different to the EMY1. So we haven't got the Honda badge spelled out in letters. We've got the actual Honda badge with blue accenting around it to indicate it's a hybrid or electric model. We've got the light bar, which goes across the entire width of the car, which looks quite nice. And we've got the EHEV branding, because it's a hybrid vehicle. And we've got the HRV branding that side. All models of the HRV come with a rear view camera as standard, which is quite a nice feature. And then there's an electronic boot as well. So let's have a look in the boot as well. So like the EMY1, the motor is quite noisy, unfortunately. And there's 3 ways to open the boot. So you can open it from a button on the dashboard, a button on the key, or also just the button on the tailgate there. And then in the boot there's 304 litres with the seats up. If you fold the seats down, which is quite easy to do so, there's 1,274 litres of boot space if you count up to the roof. If you count the underneath of the boot floor there, it's 1,290. The HRV does have those famous Honda Magic seats as well, but let's have a look in the boot here. So we've got a plastic tray here to keep liquids and things from spilling around. This is the most awkward thing in the world to sort of move around, so just catch itself on there if you want to get anything under there. And there's a tiny little bit of boot space under there, and there's these weird orange things, which I'm not entirely sure what they're for, but there's a bit of space in there, which would typically be used for charging cables, but obviously being a hybrid you don't need those. But these plastic trays are a bit odd, they sort of get in the way, and but they're practical, they are practical, so there is that. We can fold the seats down using these little handles here, so we just click that latch, we can push that all the way down. Same again this side, and then there's nice Honda Magic seats sort of articulate and produce a really, really flat floor. And again, we would have got 1,274 litres of boot space if we count up to the roof here. But I think it's a really, really good amount of space. I did use it to carry some tyres the other day, and everything fitted in quite nice and easily. So I am pretty impressed with the boot space in the HRV. There's also a little blind here, sort of load cover, which is fixed in position. It is very easy to take out if you need to, just these little clips here. But it keeps things sort of private if you want it to be. And then just to close the boot, there's a little button here again. You just press that in once and it'll close on its own. So what's the Honda HRV like to drive? Well, like all other Hondas, it's a really nice thing to drive. This has got that eCVT gearbox system like we've seen in the Honda Jazz, the Honda Civic. That eCVT system is paired to a 1.8 litre petrol engine, delivering around 130, 140 brake horsepower, and we get 0 to 60 in 10.7 seconds. So based on those specs, you're not going to drive this car like your hair's on fire. It's definitely sort of a more sedentary car, and it does encourage you to drive slower, I've found. So that eCVT system does get very loud when you accelerate. So around town, this system is very, very good. We've got regen in that B mode, and I feel like the regen mode on this car would be a good training platform for a person who's a little bit skeptical about driving an EV potentially. Let me know what you think about it in the comments, but I think that the regen mode in this car is good, so we just knock it into B and we get a bit of feedback and charging in the battery. So I'm just coming up to a 60-mile-an-hour zone now, and it does start to become a little bit in your face, so let's floor it. The revs jump very high, and I notice when you're going up hills and things, the engine does become very loud and unrefined as well, so that's a little bit of a negative, but that's really the only thing I can find that's wrong with this vehicle. Everything else is really good. It's a really nice thing to drive. It's very soft, very comfortable, returns good MPG. So if I just knock it into the mode for MPG, so knock it down into here, range and fuel. So it says I got 176 miles left on the tank. It's about half full. And over the last 250 miles, I've returned about 55 MPG. And that's really good considering this is a tall SUV. The aerodynamics of it might not be quite as good as the Honda Civic. That got really good MPG when I had that on test last year. A few little things, the infotainment screen is a little bit on the small side for me personally. Other than that, it's very responsive, very easy to use. It has some good features in there, and it's got wireless Apple CarPlay and that sort of thing, so it's really good. The ride on it is really good, it's like all other Hondas. The driving characteristics is really good. Obviously, as I said, it's not going to be a car you're going to drive fast into corners. It is a really good solid family car, I think. In the addition of that good sized boot and the ISOFIX connectors in the back, I think it'd be a good choice for most families. There's a plethora of safety technologies. We've got so many things on this car, like self-driving features, there's lane assist, there's cruise control, different features in there, and lots of different things. And then when you're driving as well, the usability of the climate control system is a really welcome change. We've got physical buttons and physical dials and little screens here to control everything. Some nice little features. So when you turn up the heating, the dials will glow red. When you turn it down, it glows blue, and then sort of goes back to white again. But overall, I think it's a really good car for families. Quite well priced for what you get as well. Similarly priced to the Honda Civic. But if you want something to be a little bit taller, I think it's a really good choice. But in the meantime, let me know what you think about the Honda HR-V in the comments down below. If you want to learn more about the interface, visit our website, theinterface.uk. We've got car reviews and other bits and pieces on there. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video if you enjoyed the content, and we'll see you again next time.